The frantic pace of our days makes us feel tension and even fatigue. Stress is one of the main sources of illness and can also cause depression and anxiety. The philosophical reflections of the ancient Taoist masters contain many philosophical reflections that can help us alleviate tension and reduce our constant worries. The natural course of life. From the Taoist perspective, we resist the natural course of life. When we try to impose things, to impose means to intervene or even go against nature, which only leads to difficulties according to the Taoists. If we observe many of today's societies, we realize that most people continue to force their own way. Furthermore, many times we feel overwhelmed by the stress and fatigue caused by the accelerated pace of modern life. Stress is a factor that can affect our physical and mental health, causing diseases, depression, and anxiety. However, we can find wisdom and comfort in the texts of ancient Taoist masters, who offer philosophical reflections to alleviate stress and calm our mind. The Taoists teach us that we should flow with nature and not oppose it. When we try to force things or go against the natural order, we only create difficulties and conflicts. On the contrary, if we observed and accepted what nature offers, we could live with more harmony and inner peace. We are obsessed with control. Usually not only do we try to modify nature to our liking, but we also try to control things over which we actually have no control, such as fate and external circumstances. Ceasing to pursue happiness is the second antidote. Zhuangzi did not know whether what busy people sought was happiness or not, but he could see that the ways in which they tried to obtain it made them unhappy. People are always busy running in their obsessive search for happiness. Their faces seem tired and sad. Zhuangzi invites us to give up the search for happiness as he considers it a source of suffering and frustration. As Zhuangzi said, those who believe that money is all that matters cannot let go of their earnings. Those who aspire to recognition cannot let go of the idea of glory. Those who cling to power cannot cede control to others. Fulfillment and well-being are possible if we stop acting with them as goals. It suggests that fulfillment and well-being are possible if we stop acting with them as goals. If we do not desire happiness and well-being, the pain of not having what we want and the right to get what we desire vanishes. Therefore, we do not anguish in trying to get or not get happiness. On the contrary, we play with happiness because we have stopped agonizing over seeking it. The third antidote is to contemplate emptiness. Zhuangzi argued that people in general like compliments because they feel good when others appreciate their successes, but he instead appreciated emptiness because when we are empty of all those attachments, we are less tense. We would have fewer things to worry about if we did not feel that the approval of others is so important. He said that we always try to take credit for things that are not entirely due to our own merit. What really makes us feel proud of ourselves? Often, we let ourselves be influenced by the compliments we receive from others, but are they really ours? Most of the things for which they praise our person depend on external factors or qualities that we have not cultivated. For example, Instagram models who receive thousands of likes mainly receive them for being born with a beauty that fits current standards. So what merit do we really have? Once he invites us to reflect and let go, realizing how empty everything is, we can find tranquility and inner harmony if we learn to be calm in this chaotic world. Otherwise, we will be involved in all kinds of unnecessary conflicts. Many of the things we seek are illusory. They only have the value we give them. Compliments are illusory, and many times, though not always, they don't even correspond to reality. The same goes for many other activities that we consider important, but that make no sense. It seems that we do them just to escape the void, but if we accept this void, embrace it and set aside all these games, competitions, endless races, the constant search for happiness, we would be better off. Whoever stands on tiptoes does not stay balanced. The fourth antidote is the inner law. According to the Taoist sage Zhuangzi, if we ask ourselves more than we can do, we are creating problems. In his profound work, the Tao Te Ching said that whoever stands on tiptoes does not stay balanced, and whoever rushes does not go on. Standing on tiptoes and trying to control what we cannot control. The difference between a person whose law is within themselves and a person whose law is outside of themselves, in the book Chuang Tzu, explains the difference between a person whose law is within themselves and a person whose law is outside of themselves. The first person is the one who acts without depending on the approval and disapproval of others. The second person is guided by things that are outside of his control and therefore becomes a puppet of his circumstances. What happens in the outside world determines his mood. When he tries to extend his power over objects, those objects gain control over him. As Zhuangzi said, when things go well, the second person is happy and satisfied. When things go badly, he is unhappy and full of worries, and so he tries to get what he wants and to avoid what he doesn't want, always worried about a universe that he ultimately cannot control. The one who tries to extend his control is just a manipulator, while the one who thinks he is surpassing other people is seen by them simply stretching and standing on tiptoes. Everything around us is out of control, but the more we have control over our thoughts, our choices, and our attitudes towards the outside, the less we will depend on external satisfaction, and the less we will have to strive to achieve it. It is not the future itself that puts people in difficulty, but the anxiety for the future. The fifth antidote is not to worry about fate. Zhuangzi observed that it is not the future itself that puts people in difficulty, but the anxiety for the future. An archer, for example, can shoot perfectly during his training, but poorly when competing for a prize. As soon as we desire a specific outcome, we stress for fear of not achieving it. How can we face an uncertain future, knowing that there is the possibility of fortune or misfortune? He tells the story of an elderly man from the kingdom of Qi who was afraid that the sky could collapse and the earth could open up. If it happened, he would have nowhere to run and his death would be inevitable. So a friend tried to reassure him by telling him that the sky would never give way. A wise man, however, told him that there was indeed a possibility that the sky could collapse, even though the chances were slim. Therefore, the elder should not torment himself too much. The wise man said, "It doesn't even make sense to think if the sky and the earth could be destroyed, we can live our lives without worries. However, if they were to be destroyed, it would be something we could do nothing about. So why worry? Whether the earth will disappear or not is something that is completely beyond our control." The ancient Taoist sage used to say that it makes no sense to worry whether the earth will disappear or not. It's something that completely escapes our control. If it happens, it happens. Moreover, we don't even know what exactly will happen after we go through that fate. What does it mean to be dead exactly? Or what happens, for example, when we lose our job or a marriage ends? We suppose that these events are disasters, even though they could be blessings in disguise. Once again, whatever happens is out of our control, so tormenting ourselves is a useless effort. If you liked this video, subscribe to the Pearls of Wisdom channel and turn on the bell to receive more content on spirituality and personal development. Thank you for watching the video. Leave your comment. See you in the next video.